All right, welcome to Section8Consulting.com. Today we're going to be discussing the second part of our video series, which will be about teaching you the many different options for vouchers in housing. And so we'll quaintly call it the many types of vouchers. Before we do that, I'll do a few introductions. My name is Jay. I am the owner of Section8Consulting.com. I'm a consultant at the federal level, and I help people navigate the system. Many of which may have problems with landlords or even housing authorities, need help with portability, seeking out and getting vouchers, dealing with Section 811, 202, and so forth. Today, we're going to navigate to our new webpage specifically designed for this series of videos we're doing. So before I do that, here's our web address, section8consulting.com. If you have questions or comments, you can reach out to our office. Beyond that, let's go ahead and go to our new page. Now, just keep in mind, guys, I'm almost 50. This is my wisdom in putting this page together. I don't have a professional doing it. It's a free subdomain through Weebly. So if you have any complaints, please take it first, light it on fire, and then throw it out the window when you're driving down the freeway, and I'll let you know when I get back to you about the complaint. Okay? All right, so moving from there, this is the main page for the website, and you'll see this is our Section 8 Housing Simplified Step-by-Step Guide. And you can find the web linkage here, which is section8consultinginfo.weebly.com. And so you would want to bookmark that because you'll be able to go through and find all the videos, all the information we discuss. Makes it very simple for you guys. So the first video, which included two subject matters, was eligibility and applications. We covered that. If you're seeing this video and you haven't seen those, go see them first, okay? It's going to do a lot better. So as you can see down here, it shows you where the video is. This is the same video for these two topics. You can watch that one, and then it'll tell you what to do. And I've really simplified this for many of you, whether you're a senior or very young, to be able to get through it. So today's topic, as we move on very quickly, is going to be vouchers and what type of voucher is best for me or best for you. And so this will be just short of an 8-minute video. All right, so hopefully after this video, I will link up the video here, but I'm going to take you to that page, and you can see there's a link here for the descriptions, and also you can go up here to vouchers. So when we go to vouchers real quick, brings us to a new page. You'll see the many types of vouchers in housing. Now, I grouped these based on how they're issued. The housing authority is not the only person and agency in town that issues or receives federal funds and issues vouchers. So let's run through our list here and see what we've got for you. This is going to help you save a lot of time, because a lot of you guys are just flying out to the housing authority, or you're going to their webpage, fill out an application. You don't even know what you're applying for, and you don't even realize there's other options on the market for you. So the first is what most people call Section 8. And it's actually the Housing Choice Voucher. This is the main and primary one. The Housing Choice Voucher allows you to be able to utilize a voucher to rent any type of property. You know, you got a duplex, complex, private landlords, a home. If you want to live in communal living, all those things are possible. You can even rent a trailer if you wish. Okay. Now, when the housing authority owns the property, they issue a voucher, but also own the property. We call that Project-Based Voucher, which is PBV. And so what that does is they own it. They give you a voucher. You rent from the housing authority. It's not a great idea, okay? There's a lot of activities that happen project-based housing around the country that many of you might not enjoy. And making the housing authority not only give you a voucher, they're in control of you and your voucher, but moving into their property gives them a lot more control than you're probably going to want to desire. And that's not to mention the type of people that may be in the property that may be at risk of prostitution, gang activity, and everything else, okay? So project-based is for only the most desperate. Then we move on to the emergency housing voucher. Let me make two distinctions here. Emergency housing vouchers have always existed through the housing authority and also the Continuum of Care program, which we're going to cover in just a minute. But they also had a second version of that emergency housing voucher in 2021 during the pandemic. The pandemic level vouchers are gone. They're not there. So any emergency housing voucher you get now would be federally funded in either through your housing authority or Continuum of Care. It has special requirements. And so that's probably one of the reasons I'm going to recommend, out of all the videos we're making here, that after getting an understanding of the types of housing and vouchers available to you, it would be in your very finest interest to probably book an appointment with a professional. It does not have to be my office, okay? What I'm saying here is there's a lot of ways you can go wrong with this if you don't know what you're doing. This video is to introduce you to these programs. It's not going to teach you to get through them, not just yet. So we have state level vouchers. It's always good to duplicate your efforts. Many states do offer their own voucher programs, their own the taxpayer dime for the state. Federal programs like we discussed up here, the Housing Choice Voucher, Project-Based Voucher, and the EHVs are on the federal dime. In other words, all taxpayers in the U.S. Then we're going to move into the infamous low-income housing. You guys have coined a lot of phrases for this. So low-income housing is also affordable housing. Affordable housing is also considered to be what they call subsidies. And for many of you that are landlords may understand it as low-income housing tax credit property, okay? They're all the same thing. Look, as we move into that property is just like project-based. The big difference is the housing authority does not own low-income properties. Private landlords sign up for those programs, and their building or simply either a low-income property, and if you look, go down a little bit lower, you'll see Section 811 and Section 202. Section 811 and 202 are not vouchers. They are programs that fund specific categories of people that are living in low-income housing. So let's get an idea of low-income housing real quick. When a private landlord decides he wants to participate in receiving tax credits, he allows a certain portion of the units in his building. Say he's got 500 units, he may allocate 400 to low-income individuals, or he may only allocate 10 units. The point is when you move in that apartment or that home, then you're receiving the low-income credit. When you move out of there, you give it up, you start over again. So low-income housing is best served generally by seniors and people that are going to remain in a property for a very long time and that don't want to be involved in project-based owned by the housing authority. And often these buildings are sub-designated as 811, which is a person between the age of 18 and 61, that's disabled. Section 202, supportive housing for the elderly. Low-income properties can be designated that as well. So if you're 62 years and older and you have a disability or not, then you can go there and be amongst people in that age category. So it's kind of segregated housing. Now, low-income housing also just has simply low-income housing where there's no requirement of age or disability. It just simply you apply, and if you meet the requirements of meeting the low-income tax requirements, then you would be able to remain in the property if you're low income enough. So low-income properties, in my opinion, are best for disabled and seniors that intend on staying a long time that don't want to consider project-based housing. In our next step, we're looking at Continuum care program. This is functionally designed for the homeless or people that may be outside, maybe in a market where they don't have enough retirement funds, maybe your Social Security isn't enough to afford the property. Maybe your family's going through a crisis and you simply don't have enough money to continue to rent in the market you're in. The same circumstance that many people in New York and LA and California and portions of Florida are going through. It means at one point you could afford to be in the community, now you can't. The rent's too much. And so Continuum care program can help you if there's a possibility you're about to lose your housing and it's no longer affordable, and they offer vouchers for rapid rehousing, better known as RRH, which is it helps families and individuals quickly exit homelessness and move on to permanent housing. Look, there are many kinds of homeless. This doesn't insinuate that this program is specifically designed for someone living under a bridge. Anybody that's lost their house to a hurricane, a tornado, a blizzard, you're going through that one incident in life where you're about to lose everything and things are becoming unaffordable, this is for you. You don't necessarily have to be a long-term homeless person. So rapid rehousing works great. It works for anywhere from a couple of months to 2 years as long as you qualify. Permanent supportive housing is a long-term stable housing with supportive services for people that experience chronic homelessness and significant disabilities, including mental health. Now this would be, PSH is more addressing your hardcore homeless, the one that many of you imagine, that may have both drug or mental health issues that are severe enough where there has to be on-site support. This would not be a good option. Permanent supportive housing is not a great option for ordinary people that may not be afflicted by these issues or constant homelessness. And again, you see emergency housing voucher. Federal funds can also go here. One of the runner-ups that could have been on this list for Continuum of Care is HUD Bash, but I put it under other categories. It does address homeless veterans, but you don't have to be homeless as a veteran to participate in HUD Bash and some of the many programs they have as well. And that's for mostly HUD Bash is designed around those that are military, ex-military, served their country. As long as you have been released honorably, you're good to go. Or you have your military individual in your family. And the reason I'm not going to go into all the definitions, because clearly we can see this. The point is to give you a little bit more on top so you can consider a list of options. So HUD Bash out there for you military veterans, for you ladies or men that have experienced domestic violence, which means an implied threat against your mental health, physical health, being defrauded, or stalking, or other issues. I have to be careful what I see on YouTube. They don't permit me to cover all the egregious activities, but needless to say, they do identify them here in the description of the webpage, okay? So if you've experienced domestic issues, then VAWA Housing Violence Against Women's Act does help you and assist you with vouchers and housing. Now look, this may be a great option for many people that are going through domestic issues. However, it's not the best type of voucher. And to be frank with you, VAWA Housing and pursuing it from this angle can be done better in other ways, to be honest, okay? You may find that some of the housing solutions are a little bit tough. And so that's why I'm telling you, it's always better to speak to a professional. We already understand this stuff. We've been doing it 20, 25 years. All right, so last but last is going to be HOPWA, HOPWA, Opportunities for Persons with AIDS. I imagine this program will not be running too much longer because they now have a solution which prevents HIV. I've got a personal friend. I'm not going to bring up their name, but they had that. And to be honest with you, the medications, even then, were sufficient enough to make a person live through it. He's not ever going to die from that. His vitals and health are just fine. And so I believe at this point they've pretty much resolved the issue. However, untreated, that could be a serious problem for you. So HOP was designed for direct referral, just like the Wine Right White program is out there for you guys. So on the main list here, there's a lot of options available to you. Many of these all run under the HCV programs, but it's worth a conversation because some of these are pursued much quicker. Housing authorities can be anywhere from 4 months to 15 years. State vouchers can be around a year. Low-income housing, average about 6 months, sometimes less, except for the big cities. Continuum of Care program, 9 months. No, I'm sorry, not mine, 90 days. Depending on the city, could be as low as 1 month. And the other federal programs, well, there's a real push for HUD Bash, obviously for veterans. But, you're looking at about 6 months. VAWA and housing, anywhere from instant to a couple of months. And HOPA, around 90 days, sometimes a little bit longer, depending on circumstances. There's a lot that can be said about all of these programs. But today, again, it was just an introductory for you guys to consider what you could pursue. And let's be clear, guys. Many of these options can be available to you at the same time. Never hang your hat on just doing one thing. Like I have people call my office. We do casework. Turns out, I applied for the one housing authority in town in 1973. I haven't heard back. Well, look, honey, they got rid of you a long time ago. Okay, they purged you from the list. Look, you need to take and pursue multiple options at the same time. The only time this becomes illegal for you to pursue housing is when you accept more than one type of voucher housing. In other words, when you reach your mission goal, you need to turn off the applications and deny the request to accept any other type of housing or voucher. It's only on acceptance that you start getting in trouble, and that's only if you decide to accept 2 vouchers or 2 types of housing. You can apply for as many as you want, and if 15 people contact you the same day offering a voucher, you may only accept 1 and then graciously deny all the rest, okay? Also, portability plays a big factor in timing. So there's a lot of things, but I think that the most important thing to keep in mind in this video that's now run 15 minutes is we're going to next discuss preferences. It's one of the most important videos I'm going to make in this series. It's going to talk about how you're going to be able to achieve getting at the top of a waiting list, how to circumvent some of the rules out there, and how to do that legally. how to shorten your wait times. And so we'll discuss housing authority preferences, how to get yourself higher up in the list, and how the answers that you give on applications to housing authorities can completely affect how well you do with this program. So a lot of you guys are saying the wrong thing. Some of you are just too damn honest. Let's just be honest. You're just too honest. Look, if you're going to play a rigged game, then you might as well play to win. I'm not suggesting anybody go out there and break the law, but certainly there are loopholes to the system that can be used fairly. And that's what I'll be encouraging you guys to examine in our next video. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and I apologize for going from 8 minutes to 15, but sometimes it's worth the extra talk. All right? So until next time, I hope you guys enjoy the website. We put all of our information in the video. It's going to be at the bottom. You're going to want to bookmark this page so you can track the progress and also see the updated links. And if you remember, we'll go back to the home page. All of our company information is up there. So here is this web guide, separate website. And then you go back here, and I'm going to lower this real quick. And here's our main website. If you have questions or comments, you can reach out to our company. We're by appointment only. I'm a very busy man.